one of my longtime friends, probably over 20 years, so we're gonna take good care of it. He just dropped it off. It's been sitting in storage in the garage, so it's a little dusty. Right here's what we're gonna try and fix right there. We're gonna get it pulled in the shop, do some further assessments about the car, and we'll get to work. It's gonna be fun. I love working on classic cars. So this land yacht barely fits in my garage. It's done a lot of street racing events. They traveled with it, took it to Denver, did the Street Outlaw event with it and stuff. Won a lot of races. I came home with, I made quite a bit of money. Grudge racing, and I kept betting money and we kept winning, so that was really cool. No one would ever think that this little small block car, you know, very unassuming, would go as fast as it did, and it's been a lot of fun. It's full interior, other than the door panels are missing just right now, but I think Tim's working on that, and yeah, so it's fully built. It's got 4 9-inch rear end in it. I believe it's all on disc brake. It's been a long time since I've even laid eyes on this car, so it's kind of cool to see it back out again. Had a big shot of nitrous, the laughing gas on it back in the day. I think they have plans to do stuff to the motor. But not nitrous. I don't think they're doing nitrous anymore. I think they're stepping away from nitrous and going to do something else with it. Not sure what the plans are there, but like I said, I love me a land yacht car. This is one big nice car, and for whatever reason it's just really starting to come apart in here. There's a couple of runs in the paint. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Couple little runs in the paint where they did it before, but the blue looks like it's in pretty good shape. Definitely needs a cut and buff, but in the seams it's starting to come apart too, so we might see this car back at a later date. Who knows, maybe another year or two. Tim really just is worried about this roof, and to tell the truth, I kind of am too, so I want to get that nice and sealed up now. We will not be using Rust-Oleum on this car. I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering. No Rust-Oleum on this car. Tim wants to use a good automotive paint that we went and got, and I'll show you guys that. We went and got a good urethane for it. Nothing too special, nothing like that, but he just wants to make sure it's good and sealed. We got some sealer, so we'll throw some sealer on it. Make sure she's good and sealed up. Hopefully she doesn't have no rust or anything like that ever again. And yeah, this is a car that just sits in his garage, so he's not, you know, it's never really out in the elements. It has been sitting in the garage for a long time, just judging by all the dust that's on the car right now. Always been a really good, reliable street car for them. And like I said, I don't believe they're going to be putting this on nitrous anymore. I think they just took all that off of there, but they have something else planned for it. This car will always probably be a high horsepower car. That's just the way Tim likes to roll, and that's the way I like to roll too, so I'm on board with it. I love this car. Cruised this car quite a bit back in the days, and like I said, we took it to Denver Street Outlaws and did some grudge racing with the car, and the car did very, very well. Didn't do good in the competition, but as soon as we started grudge racing, which is more of our style of doing stuff, from street racing and stuff like that, some stuff that we're not real proud of, but you know, live and learn, and it's all cool, you know. This was a big factor, this car, for me getting my own race car. I'm building my LS turbocharged S10, which I still have, and one day we'll get back to work on that, hopefully real soon. But you know, after I broke my back, I figured a race car, a full-blown race car like that, probably isn't the smartest thing for me to have right now. So amazing, all factory colors. So when they did repaint this car, they went back to factory colors, and we went back to a factory color for the top. Make good and sure that we take care of all the stainless chrome. Make sure that we don't nick any of it, hurt any of it at all. Get in there and we'll tape it all off, make sure it's nice and good. Don't really want to pull it off right now. This is another one of those budget things, but you know, we're gonna make sure that it's good to go. We want to make sure that we're not getting it on the stainless, so when they have to pull the stainless off, if they need to change a windshield for whatever reason, he's able to do that. Make sure we good and mask all the steel, all the stainless, all the chrome. Make sure that's all good to go. We'll get in here with a really tight small file and we'll sand all this away, make sure we're not having any problems. So right there, look, I just pulled that up, and it's just one of those things that happens. This car's been painted for quite a few years, so you know, I guess the paint job really doesn't owe them anything, and it's still looking pretty good other than that top. Just a few places in the blue that I've seen that it needs a little work, but other than that, car's in tip-top shape. But yeah, guess we'll get to work on it and see what we get. You never know until we get there, you know. We'll get it nice and sanded down, nice and smooth. I don't know if there's any body work that they did to the roof. Hopefully not. I'm not seeing any just with my eyeball, so hopefully not. Hopefully we can get it sanded nice and smooth, and we'll probably take most of that paint completely off. One thing I've always done anytime I have like chrome trim or anything like that is get some black electrical tape. This also works really good if you need like masking, if you need masking tape and you know you need a really straight line or something that you're doing. I've used this before, it works great, and there's no way that you're going to tell me that this isn't the same as the fine line rubber tape that they sell you at the auto parts store. It's got to be literally the same thing. See, anyways, we're just going to reach out there, we're going to make sure we get it right on line and just over the lip of that, just right over the lip of that chrome. We don't want to mess up that chrome, we don't want to scratch that chrome, we don't want to accidentally bump it with a sanding block or the DA for sure, because the DA will really tear it up. Try and take care of the trim as best we can without taking it off. Would it be better to take it off? Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely would, but when everything's underneath, it's really new. Pretty sure you just put glass in this when they painted it. So, doesn't really want to go down that rabbit hole. You can bend it, you can break the trim. It's all original to the car, so we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're just protecting it. This just adds another layer of protection all the way around. We'll move to the top of the car. One thing, just got a regular old electric DA. It's Bauer from Harbor Freight. This thing has done many cars, including Rory's truck, many pickup trucks. It's starting to make a little noise. It's getting a little tired. I think I got the 2-year warranty on this, so if anything happens, you know, we can take it right on back to old Harbor Freight. So that's always good, but yeah, nothing special. So just got our regular 320 here, 320 sandpaper. We're just gonna stick it on there. And one thing I wanted to show was anytime you get a pickup truck, whether it's an old truck, you're just gonna flip it, you know, you're gonna throw a paint job on it real quick and flip it, or, you know, what I wanna say is just do everything how you would a block. So go ahead and start blocking it right from the start. So when you block, you know, front to back, side to side, and make an X pattern. Make an X pattern when you're sanding. I do the same thing with the DA, no different at all, like no different. And I do that from the very beginning. That way, anytime you come down and you're sanding it down a little bit, you're starting to get that, you're already starting to knock any high spot down that there is. Now, I don't think there's gonna be any need for any body work on this. I've seen one little ding on the other side, but other than that, I don't see any need for any body work. So with that being said, we're still going to block it with the DA. We're not just going to go around in circles, none of that stuff. We're going to block, you know, move back and forth, and it's a little harder to do. I promise you it's a better result. You can block a car with using only a DA. You won't get it as straight as using a block, but I have done trucks in the past only using a DA and then using sandpaper and stuff just in the hard spots that the DA can't get. You can do it that way. A lot of people will argue and say you can't. I promise you can, and I've got some really nice trucks. Now, that is not the way I do it. Like when I did Rory's truck, we sanded it down with the DA, then we came back, primered it, and then we did nothing but block by hand after that. So Block will get you straight. Block will get you home. But the DA can do an awesome good job too, as long as you leave it flat. You never rotate it up on its edge to get something. Never rotate it up on its edge. Leave that block flat. So this right here is 6 inches across. That's a 6-inch block. Any way you look at it, it's completely flat. If you use it right, you shouldn't have any problem. You're probably not going to be able to hear me, but I'll try and be as fluent with my motions and show you with my motions more. Even wearing a microphone, I don't think right now is going to help with the sound or the audio. But yeah, we're just going to block back and forth. You're going to make an X pattern. You can kind of go around and around, but never turn it up on its edge. Never turn it up on its edge. Leave it absolutely flat. I start it and then I press down and just start moving. As soon as I start it and go, I'm moving. There's nothing else to do but just start moving from there. So here we go. Real quick, while I'm doing that, I'm not pressing down pretty much at all. I mean, I have both hands on it, but I promise I'm not pushing down. I don't want to distort this metal, because then you start sanding places that you normally wouldn't see or do, and you're causing more damage than you're doing good. So I'm not pressing down at all. I just have the other hand there just to help me control and help me move along. And I can do it one-handed. I just feel like I'm always gonna do that, you know, pull back on it real hard, and I don't want to do that. I just want to stay nice, flat, level, and it'll sand. It takes a little time, but it will sand down. I'll probably need to throw my dust mask on, and we'll just start hitting it back and forth every which way we can, and then we won't get all the way up to the edge. I don't want to damage any of that chrome, like I said before, and we'll probably do that by hand. That'll all be done by hand. Okay, did quite a bit of sanding on that side, and I just came to this side so because there's a good sheen, and hopefully the camera will pick this up. But if you look right across there, I don't know if it'll pick it up, but you see all the orange peel, you know, kind of looks a little splotchy and stuff. So that's what we want to sand down. We want to sand all of that out of that, make sure it's getting completely sand, completely flat. I don't know if it's going to pick up the orange peel or not. All that shiny, that's kind of here and there, here and there, here and there, that's orange peel. That's what they call orange peel. And we want to make sure we're sanding all of that out of there. So any of that has got to come out no matter what. So it's got to be nice and flat and sand it. And then I am going to go over this. Once I get it DA'd, I will go back over this with a probably a 320 block, 320 or 400 sanding block, and just sand out any little ridges or anything that I may have put in it with the DA sander. Now, moving the DA sander the way I do does help eliminate that, and you'll see me go back and forth, and then side to side, and then crisscross, and then back and forth, side to side, crisscross. That's gonna take out any high spot or any bad imperfection that it may have. Completely DA a car with the DA. Tyler's Jeep is DA. We didn't block anything on Tyler's Jeep. It's all DA work. And on the parts that are straight on that thing is DA. There's nothing else. You know, there's a few ripples in the body, but we knew that. You know, if you're just doing a quick flipper, it's still a good idea, and Tyler knows this, to move the DA in the manner that we're doing it. So the way him and his friend were doing it was exactly right. They did it good. I was watching them on the video, and yeah, so any crisscross and side to side movement to just knock down any high spot or any imperfection that there is without going too low is what we're going for on this. On this particular car, I don't care if we go a little past the paint, just because we're going to reseal it, and we want to make sure we're getting the best adhesion as possible. Like around the window sills where it's starting to crack and move and stuff like that, definitely going to take it down to bare metal, and then we'll reseal it, make sure everything's good to go. It'll all go pretty quick. Once you get the sanding done, everything kind of goes pretty quick. You know, you got to fight through. Sanding is not fun. Anybody will tell you that knows sanding's not really that much fun. Usually I like to throw headphones in. There's a reason I'm using the electric DA right now over the air, and that's just so my air compressor doesn't run. My air compressor is really annoying. So it's a little easier on equipment too. And to just run electric DA is just so much easier and so much handier, and it has so much more power whenever if you need it or when you need it, just because it's electric. And I can turn the speed up real easy. I don't know what I was running at. I think I was running at about 3.5 if you have one of those sanders. I don't want to spin it real fast because I don't want to polish. I want it to sand. If you spin it too quick, then it'll really try and start polishing, and I don't want it to polish. I want it to cut down and sand. So I think I have it about a 3.5, something like that on the little speed indicator. And that's all we're going to do. And we're just going to keep on moving, and then we're going to get, like I said, we're going to get all the edges and stuff down to bare metal to make sure there's no problems there. I don't think there was actually a problem there. I think it's just where the paint shrunk and started to crack. And then once water got underneath it, it was all over from there. We don't have to do this for another, 10, 15, 20 years maybe. Hopefully, that's the goal, right? Because he's going to keep this car indoors. He usually always does. So, the car will be indoors, so that way nothing gets ruined. The sun is the meanest thing to a paint job is sun. So leaving them out in the sun, that's like the worst thing you can do. Like my truck right now, it's out in the sun. So just doing a little bit of hand sanding. You can see where it starts to come over here, this bend in the top. So right there, see that? See where I'm stopping? So there's a lip right here, a little edge. And I only want to sand to that, and then I'll get something else. We're not going to block that over and then get into it real hard right here and then reshape that. We want that shape, so we're just going to sand up to it for right now, and then we'll come back by hand and we'll sand in that edge and make sure we're good. I have a little round block, that a real small little round block that can get in here and get all that. So just a real quick thing. So you can see right there where it's shiny, and then where I stop sanding, just sanding over that edge right there and with the block, and then we'll do all this by hand. All this will be in here by hand. Make sure it's nice and straight and smooth. All the way back, there's no rust, no nothing. So yeah, that's what we're after. It looks good. So you might be thinking, why don't you take the trim off? Well, the rubber is like right there. So even if we took the trim off, we can't go any deeper than that. That's the only reason why I'm not worried about taking the trim off, because right there's rubber. And even if we took the trim off, we wouldn't get paint any deeper than that anyways without taking the glass out. And we do not want to take the glass out. We just want to get the top painted and finished and covered. And that's for the same for the front too. So if you see like in there, that's the rubber. The trim just kind of clips over, and sometimes you can break those clips and stuff and bend the chrome, and we don't want to do that. This is all original to the car, so we want to keep it just as nice and pretty as we can. But you're not going to get any deeper than that anyways, because the rubber to the windshield is right there. So there's really no reason to take it off. It'd probably be a little easier to take it off, but I don't want to bend any of that chrome. It's all original to the car. It's all stainless steel, and it looks good. It's in really good shape, so we're just covering it, make sure we're not nicking it with the sander or anything, and just getting down to the bare metal in the bad spots. I'm going back until I don't see any more rust or anything, and then we're just going to sand it really good. We're going to keep sanding, and get it down pretty far, and then we'll start building it back up. And then right here, we're just hand sanding everything, all the edges and everything. We're just hand sanding. We'll hand sand every little edge just to make sure we're all good to go, and we don't have any problems. But yeah, we're just doing the main parts right now. Got to do that side still, And yeah, we're just gonna keep moving around, doing here. All this will be hand sanded. All this needs to come out of here. So yeah, there's a lot of work, but we can do it. I know we can do it. A lot of work, but just get through it. You know what I mean? Throw some music on and whatever. It's like 2:30 in the morning. That thing looks badass. Again, I gotta say, what did you do?
I actually went and got my own crawler.
It has lots of lights.
Well,
It's got a sniper EFI.
yep.
Yeah, that's my boy.
13.5.
40-13.5, son. 17?
Yep, 17.
You're like way cooler than I am.